welcome back to my channel. So this is the video where I'm going to be doing showing you guys how I make these homemade candles, and I can post a link to this box that I got from Amazon. This is husband. He's going to be helping me. So let's just get started. Okay, so this box has everything that you need in it to make your homemade candles. You can make them scented or non-scented, and they actually have the dye in it to make different colors. So if you looked at my sneak peek video, it showed everything in there. So this is just all the supplies that I'm going to be showing you. So it comes with all these little decorative little tins like we showed you the last time. This is all the dyes and the fragrances that you use. I'm actually going to be using this essential oil that I got out of one of my beauty boxes. It's a rose scent. So I'm going to be using that for my candles. And it actually came with 5 of these. We already did several. So this one here is one that we kind of just tested, and it turned out really good. I want the colors to be a little bit more vibrant, but it smells really good. So what I did is I went to the Dollar Tree and I got these glasses here. So we're actually going to be making the candles in these. And I'm going to be using my own essential oils. We have 3 bags of wax that's left from the kit. So we'll see how far that goes. So this is your instructions here. So we're just going to go instruction step by step. So husband, what's the first step?
Get a glue dot.
Glue dot.
And place the bottom of the white cotton wick on the sticky side.
Okay, and these are the wicks.
You peel that off and it goes on here.
Okay.
You want me to show them?
Okay, husband did his. So you just take your glue dot and you take it off. Here's your wick. And you're going to put it on like that. And on the other side is a sticky that you're going to peel off and put it in whatever container that you're going to be using. Our glass. So you just stick it right there in the center. And you can also make 2 wick candles, or even a 3 wick candle, but we're just going to do the 1 wick. So you got our wick in there. What's next?
You put the thing on the top to make the wick stay in the middle.
Okay, so we need our, what is it called? It holds your wick in place for when you're pouring the wax in there. I'm just going to call them a wick holder. Came with 4 wooden ones and I think 2 metal ones. So we're going to put these on top, and you're going to put your wick through here like this. And then just put it like there, and it will stabilize your wick for when it's time to pour the wax in. So our containers are all set up. Okay. Okay. There's actually a little indentation in the wick holder to where you have to push that wick in there to hold it in place like this. So your wick isn't going all over the place. Okay, step number 3.
So now we go melt the wax.
Okay, so now it's time to melt the wax down. So how much wax is going to go in each of these?
If you were going to do the little one, it would be 4.4
ounces.
But these are about twice as big.
Okay, so these little containers here are about 4.4 ounces. But since we're doing a bigger container, we're just going to double it for these.
So do about 8 ounces of.
Yeah, so we're going to do about 8 ounces of the wax. So we're going to use our little digital scale here to weigh it.
And I weighed it a minute ago and it was 8 point something ounces.
So one bag is 8 point what?
Put it on the
Let's see.
8.6.
So one bag of these is 8.6 ounces. So we're probably going to need 1 bag for each candle holder that we have. So we're going to use the double boiler process. So follow me to the kitchen. All right, so what we're going to do now is melt our wax. Husband is pouring the wax into the container, and we're going to just use the whole bag. Okay, so we're going to do the double boiler system. We've got a pot here filled with just a couple of inches of water, and it's gonna be turned on medium, and we're just gonna let it melt. So it's a whole process. While it's melting, we can go ahead and take the spoon that's provided. That's the spoon, and just stir it every once in a while it's melting, just to make sure that it's gonna be nice and smooth. Throughout this melting process, we will also be adding our fragrance and also our dye. So we also have our digital thermometer, because it has to be at a certain temperature to be able to add the fragrance and the dyes. Okay, so we noticed that the wax is starting to melt. And once that happens, that's when we're supposed to put our thermometer in there. So we're going to occasionally stir the wax while it melts. We don't want the wax to go over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's why the thermometer needs to be in there, so we can monitor the temperature of the wax. So once the wax hits 185 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when we can start adding our color to it. These are the colors that we're going to be using. I am going to be using this like purple colors here. Husband's going to be using this yellow color. But my fragrances are this lavender. And I'm also going to be using this rose fragrance as well. And you can mix them, obviously. You don't have to have just one scent. You can mix colors and you can mix your fragrances. So he's using a little spoon here.
You can see
to,
the liquid down in there.
Yeah, look at that. You can see the liquid down there. So it's starting to melt. So we're just going to continue to stir it until it is a clear-ish color. Then we can add our dyes. Okay, we can see that everything is fully melted now, and the temperature is 185, so that's when we can start adding our dye to make our color for the candles. So, husband, here's your color that you're going to use. So he's gonna, however, if you want it to be like a light color, you can just put a few shavings in there. But if you want it to really be vibrant, you put more in there. So
I gotta cut it all up or just put the whole thing in? I want the whole thing to go.
Okay, he wants the whole thing to go in there, so he's just gonna plop it in there.
I'm gonna lower it in with this spoon.
Okay. And you're gonna stir it. Stir it well, but don't vigorously stir it. Slowly stir it, because if you stir it too vigorous, then you're going to have air pockets in there, and you don't want that. So you're going to stir it until the color is uniform. Then we're going to take it off the heat.
And the thing will melt all the way, right?
Yeah, and it's going to melt all the way. And he's just stirring it.
Yeah, all the other stuff's gone. Okay. The only chunk in there now is the thing I just put in.
Okay. Okay, so the dye is fully melted. So now we get to add our fragrance. So he is going to layer his fragrances. We need to turn the double boiler off. And now he's going to put his fragrances in there. And however fragrant you want it depends on how many drops you put in. So he wants his really fragrant.
And this one?
Yeah. So stir it up a little bit once you're done putting your fragrance in there. And then you can smell it just to see the strength of it. And it has a little note in here that says that the melted wax has a stronger scent level, but when it dries, it'll tone down a bit. But when you light the candle, it will be more fragrant. So how's it smelling, husband?
Very strong.
Okay, so it'll tone down.
Very fruity.
Okay, cool. So you're stirring it now just to make sure that the fragrance and the dyes are completely mixed together. So check the temperature of the wax. Okay, we're gonna be ready to pour everything into the container when it's between 130 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That's when it's gonna be safe to pour the wax into the container. So between 130 and 160. So it needs to cool down a little bit more, or what is it at?
It's climbing, hold on.
Okay, it's climbing. Because
It's
it's still too hot because it's climbed all the way up to over 160. So we're going to take this out of the hot water. That will help it to cool down. And we're going to go back to the table and get everything else fixed up. Okay, we've reached our 160 degree limit. So now we're ready to pour the wax. So here we go.
I think I was supposed to stir it one more time, but it looks okay.
Yeah, it looks fine. Oh, good. It's going up higher.
That's about as high as we'd want it.
Yeah, that's good. So one pack, it can fill this container. That's good. All right. Okay, so it's now starting to cool. You can see how it's starting to cool and change colors on the outside, but that's the way it looks on top. So once you pour the wax in there, you shouldn't move your container. You should just leave it where it's at. And they said for 24 to 48 hours. Now, when we did the little tins, we just left it overnight and it was done the next morning. But since this is a bigger candle, we're probably gonna leave it for more than 24 hours. So we're just gonna leave it right here. I'll probably, once it's solid, almost like halfway through, then I'll probably move it somewhere else. But for now, we'll be back later to show you the finished product. Okay, so now I'm gonna get started on my candle. I'm not gonna show you guys the whole process all over again, but at the end, we're gonna show you both of the finished products. So we'll see you later. Okay, so we're back and the candles are all set. And this is the way they turned out. Where's yours, husband? This is the way they turned out. I think they turned out really well. Now, it does say in there that if you move it while it's trying to dry, then you will get those air pockets in there. So this is what an air pocket looks like. So there is a way to fix that. You just get a hair dryer and you just blow over the top and it'll kind of just melt it together. We haven't done that. So, and we also haven't trimmed the wick. So I don't have a wick trimmer, but we will get one, but I've got the scissors here. So we're gonna trim the wick on the candle. Here, you hold it while I trim it. There we go. So that's mine. Trim yours. Okay. So these are the candles. I think they turned out really nice. Okay, so we have to put these warning labels on the back of the candles or on the bottom of the candles. So we've got like a whole sheet of those. Okay. And we're going to be making our own candles from now on. And yeah, so this is it. Thanks for joining us.